What's going on today? I have an absolute banger of a video for you guys today. If you're like me, you're noticing, hey, it's about to snow next week. And with the snow coming comes salt, which usually means the end of riding season. As soon as my school semester wraps up, I'm going to be flying to California, renting a bike out there for a full month, because who can go the entire winter without riding a motorcycle, right? However, for the majority of the population, I realize that riding isn't the be-all, end-all of everything that you have to do in your life. People have other hobbies, and so I get it. Your bike isn't your main thing, and it's okay to put it away for the winter. There's the push and pull to life. It's okay to have a little bit of downtime because it makes you appreciate the warm weather and the uptime that we have during the summer with our bike. And of course, you spend a lot of money on these things, so you want to make sure things are well taken care of. So today I'm going to be discussing my process on how I winterize my motorcycles. I'm of course going to be doing a lot of overkill for this bike, even though I do plan on riding this bike over the winter regardless, but I kind of just want to take you guys through the process of what I do, at least typically in the past, for my bikes when I wouldn't ride over the winter. First thing I want to discuss is this lovely product. I'm not sponsored, by the way. From what I can tell, this is a very old company. They wouldn't sponsor me regardless, but this is a very popular product in the motorcycle community. It's ACF50. This is basically an anti-corrosion whatever. It's basically like an oily film that you would spray on your bikes, like all the metal bits, especially a bike like this that is very prone to rusting. These bikes are very well known for getting rust spots on these weld points here. It has a steel frame that it's painted, but it's not truly powder coated like some of my other bikes that I own. So a lot of these bits can very well rust. Same with these bolts, they're all exposed steel, they're not aluminum. It kind of acts as a nice little oily film over all the steel parts. It's not going to really work on aluminum. It can, I guess, if you have like exposed aluminum, but that's not very common on motorcycles. The only parts that you don't want to spray this stuff on are the tires and the brakes, because what this stuff does is it soaks into any bare metals, and so if you get it on your brake pads, it's going to soak into the brake pads, and like I said, it's an oily film. It's going to end up ruining your brakes. I am not going to be spraying this stuff on my bike today. The only time I think you need to use anti-corrosion formulas is if you plan on keeping your bike outside on a cover or something like that, or if you have a garage like mine that isn't completely airtight. Moisture can still seep into the garage and cause corrosion on certain things, and so an anti-corrosion formula helps on bikes like these. Bikes that tend to be a little bit cheaper and aren't, you know, they don't have completely treated metals like all the other bikes do. So another thing a lot of people like to do with their motorcycles is put fuel stabilizer inside of their gas tanks before storing their bike away for the winter. Now, this is something I actually heavily disagree with in the motorcycle community. Feel free to hate on me for this, but I think fuel stabilizers are a complete waste of money. Instead, what we're going to be doing today is putting non-ethanol fuel inside of our motorcycles. Ethanol is a substance that a lot of gas companies put into gasoline because it burns the same way that gasoline does. Helps reduce gas prices because ethanol is a lot cheaper than regular gasoline. However, ethanol is not a perfect solution. Ethanol comes from corn, and what that corn ethanol does while it's sitting in your fuel line is it solidifies. It can eat away at any potential vulnerable gas lines. Like if you have any weak points, it's going to eat away at that. So you really don't want to leave gasoline that is over 10% ethanol in your gas tank for a long period of time. Now, if you're only storing your bike for 3 or 4 months over the winter, kind of like how we have here, our winters are not terribly long, then honestly, I don't think you need to really worry about any of this. I'm just doing this out of pure theater. But if you plan on keeping your bike any longer than that, then yeah, you definitely should be filling your bike up with some non-ethanol fuel. That car likely has at least 2-point-something liters of a motor, if not bigger. I don't think you really need to worry about ethanol in your fuel lines, but maybe he's planning on storing it for a very long period of time. I don't know. I'm not really here to judge. So regardless, if I was keeping this bike stored for longer than 2 or 3 months, I definitely think you should look into some non-ethanol fuel. There have been countless studies shown that putting ethanol in a very small motor for a long period of time can be quite detrimental. And I suppose in an absolute worst case scenario, you can use fuel stabilizer. That will help, but it's not going to come as close as just putting non-ethanol fuel inside of your motorcycle. This is definitely one of my more like opinionated videos. I just feel very strongly about certain things. I don't know, I'm a fan of physics, and some things make sense and some things don't. Like there's a video I posted a while ago when I sold my S1000 where there was this little clip that people really didn't like. I mentioned in that video to the person who was buying my S1000 that, hey, bike only has 1,500 miles since its last oil change. The bike had 6,000 miles total, but I like to change more oils on my race bikes every 1,000 to 1,500 miles. Now, why is that? It does need oil. I think 1,700. In your definition, you're probably fine, but in my definition, I'm like, that's oil change time.
1,600 miles.
Do I just hate money? No, dude, there's a reason behind everything I say. So why was I talking about changing my oil every 1,000 to 1,500 miles? Well, that's because that's a race bike. It's the S1000RR. Now look, contrary to whatever I do on camera, that bike is a race bike. It likes to be ridden as a race bike. maybe it was ridden like a race bike. You know, maybe think about that. People who go to track days, people who track their bikes, ride them extremely hard, they change their oil every single track day, which is like 300 to 500 miles maybe, not even sometimes. When you're riding extremely hard, the internals in the bike are moving extremely quickly, and that breaks down the oil very fast. So yeah, if you ride an S1000 RR on the street and you're riding it like a normal person, yeah, you can probably change your oil every 6,000 miles like the manual calls for. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just know if you're gonna ride the bike like it's being ridden on the track, you have to change the oil like it's being ridden on the track. And look, I get this is like, maybe it's a hard concept for a lot of people to understand, but like, that's just, if you're gonna ride the bike like it's on the track, you have to maintain it like you're riding it on the track. Otherwise, things are gonna break. And look, things still broke in that bike. I went through a water pump, had multiple electronic issues. Like, it doesn't matter how much you maintain the bike, you might still have problems if you're gonna ride your bike extremely hard. Now, this bike is a very large, it's like an almost 700cc motor, only making like 68 horsepower. It's a very big motor, revs very low, red lines at like 9,500 RPM. It's not a race bike. The motor is made for the street. It's very low strung. It doesn't rev out like the S1000. Like the S1000 is a very big motor that revs out very tall. It makes over 200 horsepower. Like, that bike is going to be a lot more sensitive than something like this. So I think it's been, what, like 2,500 miles since my last oil change on this bike? You can go a little bit further with this bike. You can probably change the oil every 3,000, maybe 4,000. I would still change it every 3,000 anyway. I just got irritated if people got like offended over that. Someone made a comment like, oh, I bet you buy a new bike every time you run out of gas. I'm like, no, it's just, again, if you're gonna ride the bike like a race bike, you gotta maintain it like one. If you don't want to maintain your bikes like a race bike, maybe just ride them like a normal person. There's nothing wrong with that. If you enjoy riding your bikes normal, then that's totally fine. You'll probably live longer than most too. If you're going to be doing over triple digits on your motorcycles, you better make sure that they're well taken care of, because one little mistake, I mean, that's life and death, bro. You don't want bad maintenance to be the reason that you're sitting in a casket. What the fuck was that? You see that? Something to say. I wanted to know what you wanted to say.
I'm trying to enjoy my day with my dog. Get away from her, I'll call the police.
You just flipped me off. I was just curious. You seemed to be really confident. Bye-bye! Well, after that very enjoyable ride, we are at the lovely Ducati Cleveland. So like I mentioned in a previous video, Ducati Cleveland does winter storage, and what I like about that is it's in a nice climate controlled area. They offer packages with like oil changes, chain maintenance, all that stuff, so that way you know that your bike's ready for the winter. Which comes to my last subject about winterization of your motorcycle. So as I mentioned, you want to fill up with non-ethanol fuel. You want to spray the bike down with some level of anti-corrosion substance. The last things that you want to do is, first of all, change the oil out of your bike. This has been well documented that as a bike is running, the bike introduces contaminants into an oil like water and other chemicals that react badly with the oil. And if you let that bad oil sit in your bike over the winter for months at a time, it can it's corrosive to your motor and bad for the longevity of the bike. If you don't plan on keeping your bike for a long period of time, don't worry about it. But if you like your bikes and you want to keep them for a long period of time, I definitely would recommend changing the oil before winter, and that way it's all good and set for the spring when you want to ride. You also want to make sure you spray down your chain with some chain lube. That way it just prevents any rusting, helps the longevity of your chain, because chains are expensive and they're really frustrating to replace. So, and the absolute last thing, and this goes without being said, give your bike a wash. If it's gonna sit pretty for a long period of time, you at least want to make sure she's all clean, because also there are contaminants on the road, and if you let that sit on the paint can, you know, motorcycle paint usually isn't as good as car paint, so you definitely want to make sure that that is washed off. Now this might be a little excessive of winterization for your bike. You don't really have to go this far. This is a V4R. No. Got the Olin suspension. That's crazy that it's been torn down this much. It's so cool to see. This has a totally, well, I wouldn't say totally different motor than a regular V4. This one's a little bit smaller. It's only 998 cc's, I believe, and it revs a little bit higher than the regular V4s, so it's just kind of cool to see it all torn down like that. With the snow coming in next week, it's kind of sad to say goodbye to our riding season, but I do plan on continuing to ride throughout the winter when I can, and of course I'll be in California in less than a month, so I will make sure I see you all there. And with that, I'm going to end today's video here. Make sure you guys stick around for the next one, because I'm going to be here, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.